A very pleasant day to you, and I welcome you once again to this segment on newspaper review. I am Kings Ojalo, and I will be taking you through all our newspaper headlines, highlighted and interesting stories on all our newspaper platforms in Nigeria. And now looking at the Daily Independence, which we'll be starting from. On the Daily Independence, we have highlighted stories and interesting stories which has been circulating on the media for quite a long time now. We have federal government formalizes tax implementation for Nigeria informal economy. Targets annual growth of 7% as pathway to $1 trillion economy. Now, on the top of the Daily Independence, we have Tinubu names tax expert Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. That is an interesting one there. We also have ADC asks federal government to stop selective justice against el-rufai Malami. Now, going to the left of the Daily Independent, we have Nigeria VAT hits 2.28 trillion naira in Q3 2025, raises 10.66% quarter. Now, you find that in page 26 of the Daily Independent. Still on the Daily Independent, Lassa fever death toll hits 75 as fatality rate climbs to 23%. We also have Medical Council suspend 3 doctors over death of Chimamanda Adichie's son. You find that in page 6 of that newspaper platform. Still on that, FG suspend pilgrimage to Israel amid Middle East crisis. You find that in page 7 of the Daily Independent. Still on that, going to the Middle East, US-Israel attack on Iran. Petrol hits 960 naira per liter in Abuja, 935 in Lagos. Going straight to the Nigerian Tribune. On the Nigerian Tribune, we have APC governments consolidate as party picks state ESCOs. APC government consolidate as party picks state ESCOs. You find that in page 327 and 30 of the Nigerian Tribune. Still on the Nigerian Tribune on the top, Tinubu nominates Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. You find that in page 4. Now, still on Lassa fever hits 18 states, 28 health workers infected. Now, going straight to the Vanguard newspaper. On the Vanguard, a latest story says, Middle East war, home factories hard hit as fuel price rise. You find that in page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, you have VAT revenue raises 34% to 6.4 trillion naira in 6 months, as company income tax growth 48% to 7.72 trillion. Now, on the bottom line, el-rufai DSS arrest hands 5 security officials to ICPC. You find that in page 6. Still on that, 2027 presidency, no northerner should run. That is coming from Vintiri. Now, you find that in page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, on the top of the Vanguard, we have so many circulating stories. Defecting governors tightens grip as APC gets new state chairman. Find that in page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Still in the Vanguard, how Cross River girls are trapped in Ivory Coast sex trade. That is a terrible story there, and which is in page 11. Now, going straight to the Matrix newspaper. On the Matrix, Knox Kodos greets Taiwo Ayodele nomination as Finance Minister of State. Now, we also have on that, Tinubu orders immediate releases of funds for space asset maintenance. You find that in page 3 of the Matrix newspaper. On the top of the Matrix, single widow risks falling without prepared agencies. Musa raises alarm. Now, we also have on the side, NCC orders telcos to issue subscribers 14 days notice before deactivating inactive SIMs. We also have in Rivers State House of Assembly invite 9 Fubara nominees for screening. Now, going straight to This Day newspaper. On This Day newspaper, we have highlighted stories which says conflict widens. US asks citizens to leave Middle East. Conflict widens. US asks citizens to leave Middle East. We also have panel finds prima facie case of negligence in death of Chimamanda's son. On the top of the newspaper, we have Idun implementation of new tax laws will be monitored to ensure fairness, equity. Now going straight to the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, we have 40 design, vandalism, neglect, endangers $3.4 billion rail overhaul. Take that again. 40 design, vandalism, neglect, endangers $3.4 billion rail overhaul. Now we find that in page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian, MDCN confirms negligence in death of Chimamanda's Allegetions son. You find that in page 4 of that newspaper platform. Now going straight to the Middle East. Middle East war lift crude pushes petrol near 1,000 naira per litre as Nigeria can't gain risk. We have on the bottom line, Tinubu reshuffles finance ministry, nominates Oyedele as Minister of State. We also have Umai Ohiri Baker over allegations as HURIWA demands probe. You find that in page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Now going straight to the leadership. On the leadership, we have so many interesting stories and sad stories as well. APC state congresses, crisis escalate in Ondo, Delta, Benue. We find that in page 4. Now still on that, we have oil hit $84 as Iran conflict short Gulf energy up. On the top of the newspaper, we have doctor suspended over death of Chimamanda's son. You find that in page 7 of the leadership newspaper. Alleged compromises, el-rufai airport drama. Alleged compromises in el-rufai airport drama. You find that in page 6 of the leadership newspaper. Now on the left side, we have so many interesting stories, but I'll take one of it, which is Kanu court sentenced 2 to death for killing newlywed man. That is a very terrible story there. You find that in page 18 of the leadership newspaper. Taraba Benue governors deepen cross-border security collaboration. You find that in page 9 of the leadership. Now going to the Punch newspaper. The Punch. Tax law. VAT hit record 1 trillion naira as new sharing era begins. You find that in page 2 of that newspaper platform. Now on the top, Israel tension. Israel-Iran tension. Airlines loses over 7.5 billion naira amid grounded flights. You find that in page 21 of that newspaper platform. Now on the top of the newspaper, el-rufai, DSS detains 5 over airport incidents. 1 billion naira suit hangs. Find that in page 7 of the newspaper platform. APC inaugurates states LG ESCOs after consortium's polls. You find that in page 9 of that newspaper platform. Going to the Daily Sun newspaper, looking at the top stories and highlighted stories as well. Fuel price rises. Now 937 naira per litre in Lagos, 975 per litre in Abuja. You find that in page 21 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Find that also another interesting story on the top. FG holds Israel pilgrimage, cautions Nigeria on demonstrations. Federal government holds Israel pilgrimage, cautions Nigeria on demonstrations. You find that in page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Going to the Daily Trust newspaper, looking at some interesting stories as well. APC congresses line up behind Tinubu. APC congresses line up behind Tinubu. We also have on the top, Gombe APC adopts President Tinubu as sole president candidate in 2027. That is an interesting one from the APC coalition movement. Now looking at business bleed as blackout persists. You find that in page 12 of that newspaper platform. Now going straight to the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper, interesting stories and also interesting diagrams placed there, which you should grab your copy and find out what these stories are talking about, which I also give you some hints of it, starting from the highlighted stories. Nigeria in Middle East send distress calls as government halts pilgrimage. Nigerians in Middle East send distress calls as government heals pilgrimage. Now looking at the top, Senate gets Oyedele's nomination as minister. You find that in page 5. We also have fin 3, I have parted ways with Atiku. We let his son go. You find that in page 5 as well of the Nation newspaper. Still on that, el-rufai, arrival security breach, 5 for persecution. Now going straight to the new Telegraph, which is our last for today. On the new Telegraph, we have highlighted stories. Middle East crisis, still on the Middle East. Federal government suspend pilgrimage to Israel. Others promises safe return of Nigerians. Yes, recall most Nigerians were stuck at the Nigerian embassy at Iran, which the federal government is giving Nigerians, that those who are stuck there will have a safe return. You find that in page 2, 4, and 25 of the new Telegraph newspaper. Now, interesting stories on the top. Tinubu nominates Oyedele as Minister of State Finance. Now, still on coming to Rivers State. Rivers Assembly invites Fubara commissioners nominees for screening. You find that in page 6 of that newspaper platform. 5 officials arrest over el-rufai airport bridge. You find that in page 2 and 6 of the new Telegraph newspaper. 27 newly promoted INEC directors due for retirement. You find that in page 4 of that newspaper platform. Now, our last headline for today, which is cashless policy. FAN lodge for quickly payment option as airport gates. FAN, which is FAAN, launches for quick payment option at airport gate. You find that in page 5 of that newspaper if you really want to know more on that thing. And that is all I have for you on this segment on newspaper review. Many thanks for being with me. Many thanks for watching. I am Kings Ojalo, and it's a bye for now.